The Art of Commerce is a podcast featuring conversations on creativity and conversions. Hosted by Anish, a data-obsessed creative director, and Jinx, a growth-obsessed CMO. Listen on for actionable insights for the modern marketer.
You specialize in operationalizing AI and not necessarily being an end user. What filters do you use mentally when you're trying to figure out, is this a shiny object or does it solve a real problem? Like, how do you go about it?
Yeah, the first thing, it comes down to use cases, right? One thing I think I'm lucky to have, and I'm certainly not the master of any of these, maybe a jack of all trades. I've been a consumer. Right. I've worked for Mark Cuban, and I worked for a private equity firm that owned consumer sporting goods brands. So I was in the B2C space, so I understand buying technology. And Jinx, like we talked about earlier, like, is your technology actually going to deliver what your salesperson said it would? So I've been there. I've had empathy for that. With Scott McNeely, I've actually developed technology. So leading product and saying, hey, here's a market gap. Let's go fill this gap. I was putting live, social media to air for newsrooms. Times Now in India. I provided the real-time ticker tape for the maybe 2007 elections for Modi and everybody. I did the same thing, federal elections in Canada. So I know how you have to build technology to actually have a value. And then now I'm servicing it, right? On the side, I'm in a tech company. So I have a little bit of empathy for the people that need to use the technology. Again, I'm not a master of any of those facets, but I've been on the four corner posts. And for me, it's all about the use case. What do you struggle with today? I actually had a call this morning. What do you struggle with today in your department that you wish you didn't have to spend a bunch of time doing? Okay, your finance, your HR. I'm not a finance or HR expert, but I can understand the 5 use cases you just told me. So as head of operation AI, I go around and say, what are your use cases that are mundane that you think an agent could do? And then go find the tool, and with developers and smart engineers, and when I say engineers, these are not like coding engineers. These are just people who understand how to talk to ChatGPT and everything, put together an agentic workflow. It all starts with the use case. Can your tool, so here's what I'd say. If you're Zoom, which I think is a great platform, and by the way, I was at a Glean conference in San Francisco recently where the Zoom CEO the next day was doing his earnings call. He did it all via AI virtual avatar.
Wow.
He didn't even show up in person for his own earnings call. That's the world we're living in. That's where AI is. But if I said, hey, my HR team has a problem. These are the 5 use cases. Can Zoom fix this? Well, no, we're Zoom. We're video conferencing. We're not finance and this and that. Okay, well then your solution, it's an endpoint. It's over here. And by the way, I don't have big bucks for it. Because if I got to go get all these endpoints to deal with these, different use cases, it's a mess. It's like a house of cards. And that's where companies like Glean are leaning the way. We're like, yeah, we can solve 75% of that. All right, cool. And you can also solve this for finance and for sales and for marketing and engineering. You can solve 75% of all my problems with one tool. Take my money. Here's my wallet. Just bill my credit card. So I look at the use cases first and the pain of the person who actually has to do the work. So if you start there, you'll win. I think if you're like, oh, I saw this new thing. It's really cool. We should get it. You're doing it ass backwards. Yeah. That's not you're going to fail.
Yeah. And with that perspective, you're very much like a marketer. Lead with the customer problems.
Customer need.
That's right. What is it that you say? What is magic?
Customer need, business value, and tech enablement. If you can get to the middle of that, that's the magic.
That's what happens. That is the ingredients. That's the cake everyone wants to eat.
Right. All right, we're going to switch gears a little bit.
Do it.
Because you said you're B2C, but now you're in a B2B mode, okay? We're not B2B marketers expertise, so we're glad to have you because you can drop some knowledge on the audience here. A lot of times B2B content is thought of as boring, staid, dry.
That's a good point.
Like, how do you make it awesome? What's awesome B2B content for you, and how do you make it awesome?
Well, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. It's like you want to work with good people who give you enough rope that, you either climb out of the pit or it's a bungee cord or you hang yourself. You have to think outside the box and you have to push the limits. And for me, I've been lucky to work at places where the CEOs or the board are willing to take a little bit of risk, brand risk, right? So for example, Richard Jones and I at Cheetah Digital was the pandemic. I joined in January, March 12th, the pandemic locked us down, 2020. Yep. I still flew like 70 flights that year, but we had a giant client conference that we did, that the company did historically, 600 people under one roof in Chicago. That's not happening. we're doing this in August. So I got a tight turnaround. What am I doing? Well, called up an old buddy, Tommy Lee from Motley Crue. Said, hey man, you're under lockdown. I'm under lockdown. I'm at this company. You don't care anything about it. But I got some really funny ideas I think you'll think are funny. I gave the idea to Billy Idol first. Billy Idol's a buddy. Yep. He promised his daughter, who had a newborn, that he would not do anything during COVID and get sick because he just loved hanging out with his grandchild. So sorry, Tommy, you were my second fiddle. So he was my first. But we did essentially what Workday stole. I'm going to say it. Workday stole our idea, the rock stars. Yeah. You see them on TV now.
Yeah.
You know, Billy Idol, fish out of water, you know, like doing data reports. We took Tommy Lee and his wife, Brittany Furlan, who's incredibly funny, you know, the most viewed woman on Vine at the time, 6-second Vine. And we went to his house for a day and we shot like 12 vignettes promoting this virtual conference. We moved our whole conference to virtual. You know, spent some money with Tommy, not much, his friend. We had fun. We caught up, created these great videos. We jumped out of an airplane. Like literally, Richard Jones and I jumped out of an airplane and literally landed in a field in Colorado and kicked off our virtual conference.
Wow.
No CEO in the right mind. And we had CEOs emailing our CEO going, my whatever, VP just saw this. My marketing team just saw this. They sent it to me. Hysterical. I don't know what you guys talked about, but you got my attention. Congratulations. We're on lockdown. You did something different. So, you know, taking risks. I hired Wayne Knight. Do you know who Wayne Knight is?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Newman from Seinfeld.
Seinfeld, Jurassic Park, blah, blah.
Same thing. You know, another company. We probably did that at Cheetah. I can't remember, but you know, he was known for being that snivelly, you know, crazy, creepy, sweaty mailman who always looked into your mail before he handed it to you. Well, we played on that persona. We hired him again during COVID, and we did it twice with him. And he said it was the most profitable hour he ever did. We had a 6-hour shoot. It took 90 minutes to create 9 videos, and he thanked me. He kissed my hand getting in the Uber. He's like, dude, you just paid for like my whole summer vacation. This was fun, and it was fun comedic stuff. And those were promoting another virtual conference.
That's awesome.
Thinking outside the box, you know, that's, I challenge brands and CEOs to give your teams the leeway to say, hey, this might fall flat, but can we try it? It's not a huge financial risk. And by the way, I'll share the numbers. Tommy Lee, I think I probably spent all in with everything, $60,000. $60,000. I was in Variety. I was in Ad Age. Everybody wanted to cover it. They're like, you made Tommy Lee make email marketing funny. He literally took my laptop and threw it out his window and like smashed my laptop in one of the vignettes as like this like off the cuff thing. And marketers everywhere were like, that was genius. You know, email sucks. You know, email platforms suck. You want to throw your laptop out the window. So I don't know.
That's awesome.
A lot of fun. And we got other tricks up our sleeve.
I'm excited to see it.
I have a follow-up. Sounds like cultural context is what drives most of your big ideas. And joining the dots now, he's being at the heart of some of the most popular entertainers in the music space, in the TV space. And you're leveraging your knowledge of the cultural context to then create something which sells B2B soft SaaS.
Well,
tell us more about it. It's kind of right.
Yeah. I mean, look, we've always said that, you know, B2B is, you know, business to boring. Like, we don't want to do that stuff. So I appreciate you're picking up on the cultural context of it because, look, I got flack when we brought in Tommy Lee. We had people at Cheetah Digital who quit the company because they thought he was a wife beater and this and that and the other thing. So it was a risky thing to do. But at the end of the day, you know, it was great content. It was funny. It was relevant. And it was contextual for most of our audience. No matter who you choose as a spokesperson or no matter what idea you have, you're going to upset somebody all of the time, right? So you got to take a few chances. And it ended up being, you know, great and fun. And Wayne Knight, of course, everyone loves Wayne Knight. But, you know, trying to tap into the now, but also not latch on to the trend.
Yeah.
Because nobody was pairing up. And I called Tony Hawk. I offered Tony Hawk to do something in his facility, and his sister, who manages him very, very well, wanted way too much money. But Tony was like, that's a great idea. Like, that would be really fun to do. But he's got business thresholds, and we couldn't do that. So, you know, not taking the flavor of the month and making it yours, because that's not going to go far. Correct. Have you seen what's going on with Gwyneth Paltrow?
Oh, yeah, with the astronomer.
Like, they literally got her as a spokesperson for video.
Brilliant.
I was like,
Oh, good day.
Yeah,
you didn't see it?
Yeah.
Check it
Oh,
out.
you gotta check it out.
So,
Okay.
let's set up really quickly in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
2 people got busted at Coldplay for cheating. Those people work for Astronomer. Astronomer went to Gwyneth Paltrow, a very well-known actress, who was the ex-wife of Chris from Coldplay, the singer.
singer.
It's this whole incestuous thing,
it's amazing.
right?
Brilliant.
And she had what I thought was a very cool, not kitschy, not like over the moon, like it was a very, very cool way that they used her. And
was her sitting at a table, just like
and I thought it was the right moment, right message.
Yeah.
But of course, I also went off on the tangent and saw mostly females, who were like, this woman, got, the wife of the CEO got busted, is devastated. Their family, is devastated, of course. And you're profiting on it and using Gwyneth Paltrow and making it a big thing. It's like, like you're always going to upset somebody all the time. But I thought that was a clever, timely use of real-time magic. You don't see those a lot.
Yeah.
You see a lot of failures.
right.
See a lot of people latching onto things like, but
I think to your point, like if you're authentic and you know your values, you know your company's value, like you're gonna upset some people. But if you're not trying to be a jerk, you're not trying to be racist, you're not like then it's okay. Like you gotta
Ryan
do it.
Seacrest is the only guy on television who hasn't ticked off anybody. And I bet if you look at it, he has ticked off somebody. Right?
You're right.
Carson Daly, who was a partner of ours with Bam Margera and I, who owned a record label called 456 Records with the guy John Rifkin, Steve Rifkin, music history.
Yeah.
Carson Daly was also, a guy who rode the line. We wanted to do some things with Carson, who, if you don't know Carson Daly, he was, TRL, MTV host, but then became a talk show host and, this pretty boy.
Big deal.
He was like, hey man, my image has changed. I can't do those things you want me to do now. And it was like, okay, cool. You've made that decision. It's all good. We're going to find somebody else to do this ridiculous thing. But yeah, I don't know. I just like pushing the envelope, but not being crass.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I never worked with like true production of Jackass, when Bam and Ryan Dunn and other guys would ask me to get involved in the movies, is it was crass.
Yeah.
I did not like, Jeff Tremaine and the way that they kind of really went for the throat. The stuff was funny, but it was dirty funny. It wasn't my kind of comedy. So, I think everybody has to find that line for, if you're in charge or you have budget or you're the face of the brand or you're the decision maker, like, what do you personally think are the boundaries, high and low? And then how does that fit in with the brand, right? Because anybody can come in and be crass.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's easy to do. But anybody can staple their gonads to their leg and call that a marketing video.
That's right. Well, no,
it's got to be intelligent. It's got to be culturally relevant. It's got to span to at least a wide audience.
And we've talked about it in other places where an infinite canvas makes shitty art, makes bad art, right?
Yeah.
Right? And so if you're crass, if you're using AI, like, I'm just going to AI, whatever, then all of a sudden you're giving yourself an infinite canvas. It's not going to be good. But if you play within, you have to define a canvas, and especially in the AI age, you have to define your own canvas. And you have to say, this is what my brand stands for. This is what's culturally relevant. This is what my values are. All right, now we can play.
And it's great when you work for a brand who still needs brand growth from a brand marketing perspective. Because Wonderkin right now, we sell to 1,000 customers, 1,000 brands. That's about 6,000 people that work with us, right? 6,000 people know about our brand or use our brand. We could change our brand tomorrow if we wanted to scale and sell to 60,000 people or 60,000 companies. So that's why I like working at companies where there is wiggle room, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't work at a Comcast. I couldn't work at a Dish Network. I couldn't work at these established brands. Apple, they wouldn't even let me in the door of that place. Hey, I'd fail the background check for my days and, Bam Margera getting arrested. But, you got to work at a place where you're going to live within the confines. And, for me, as a brand marketer, how can I help the brand grow to where it should go? Can I provide value there and not just say, hey, I delivered some spots, it drove some sales? Can I actually help the brand grow of what it's being known for and its brand identity? That brand marketer is still buried in me and was ingrained from Tom Flanagan, a true marketing genius.
Yeah. You make a great point there. I would love for you to unpack that. When you are approaching the any brief, What makes it a great idea, and where do you draw the line personally? How do you define those boundaries?
Yeah, the first thing is crass. Like, don't go overboard, right? And a lot of people, trust me, when I land at these companies, people go look at my background and my resume or videos of me on YouTube from those days when I was on TV. Yeah.
Look at me.
I was the first skateboarder to ever ride a skateboard naked on MTV. My mom found that out by watching the episode live in an insurance convention and invited her friends over to come watch this show that her son was on. Oh. That was a nightmare for her, right?
I didn't know there was a second naked person, but
So, those days are behind me, and that at that time, that's what I was doing. It was like kind of cool stuff. So people will look at me and go, oh yeah, another middle-aged white dude got hired here who has this crazy background. He's just going to wreck our brand. Well, I've matured like anybody does. Mm-hmm. And that stuff's behind me. It's fun. I'll still do it. If you want to go party this weekend, I will do some crazy stuff.
Let's do it.
But what I'm hired for has a little more taste. So first off is crass. Yeah. When people look at me, they're like, oh, you're going to get crass? No, not crass. Second off, is it unique? Right? Or are we just doing what somebody else did with a new face or in a new way or a new format? I don't like rinse and repeat. For me, everything's iterable, right? The Beatles are the rock and roll. Every band is based on the Beatles, but you got to be original. Then, other than that, does it, and this is not always, I'll admit, this is not always an ingredient that has to be in every piece, but most of your pieces, your marquee pieces for your brand, it has to invoke a feeling at the end.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right? There has to be some emotional connection. And it could be, man, I really don't like that brand. Okay, like cool, but this is what the brand stands for, so that's fine if you don't align with that. Again, I'm not curing cancer here. I'm not some genius. We're just trying to say this is what this company does, and it appeals to these types of people and provides this value for this niche, no matter where it lands. So I think not being crass, I think being unique, and then evoking some emotion. Other than that, man, the format doesn't matter. It could be a podcast, it could be a written piece, it could be, Tushy. You know that brand? They sell bidets.
Oh yeah.
They hired somebody, an actor, I can't remember who it is, and they rented that cathedral right across from the World Trade Center on Bank Street.
Yeah.
And they said the toilet is dead or something. Toilet paper is dead.
Yeah.
It was so crass, but at the same time, it was tongue-in-cheek and was great. They're basically saying toilet paper is just making a mess.
Yeah,
Use a bidet and water and get yourself clean. And I was like, that resonates with me. I'm not buying a bidet, but I thought that was a clever use that was unique. They used, a historic cathedral in New York. They used a well-known actor, and they brought a topic that every single human on the planet has to deal with, cleaning your backside, and made it fun and kitschy. And I was like, kudos to you. That was a great campaign. That was like last year or a year or two ago.
Funniest thing is, I know the CEO, and he actually came from music. He was but he got that CEO gig basically because he knew how to piece together creative and take A plus B and make C times 20, right?
Great dude. I actually, he came to one of our client events in Austin, Texas 2 years ago. It was a great dude. We had a ton of fun, had some beers. Yeah. So there's brands out there that are doing really cool things. And I get inspired by that.
That's awesome. All right. I know we're taking up a lot of your time, so we're gonna wrap this up. But to do it, we're going to do a rapid fire. Okay.
Rapid fire. Let me hydrate, man.
You get your water. Get your water. Get ready. Okay. I'm gonna list some stuff and just off the top, man. Whatever you got. Okay. You're on a desert island. Yep. What's the one thing you wish you had?
Desert island. One thing I wish I had: fishing pole.
Whoa! I love it. What's the overused phrase you hear that you wish would die?
That chatbot just hallucinated. I don't think people really understand what a hallucination is. I think sometimes their chatbot is anchored in information that's wrong, and it gave a wrong answer, but it actually did exactly what you asked it to. It just had the wrong information to pull from. It's particularly in a RAG model.
Right.
So everyone's like, oh, it hallucinates. I don't use ChatGPT. It doesn't know how to write. Yeah, you don't know how to use it.
You don't use it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna steal that. That's a great way to look at things because we spoke about. Yeah. Keep going. Sorry.
Must be user.
Catch up offline.
Must be user. There'll be a lot more conversation going on after this, but it could be user error. Basically, is what you're saying. The soundtrack for your life What is it?
Man, that is crazy. I can't pick one band because I go from Slayer to Counting Crows to Sinead O'Connor. Like literally, that was me on the plane coming home from London. Typo Negative is probably the band. I went on tour with them at a very young, impressionable age, and I was blown away at the songwriting. Typo Negative is a band that so many people do not know about, and if they just listen to the music and how it was written, it could change your life.
Unbelievable. Favorite music venue?
Oh man, I got to say Red Rocks because of what it is. It is. But realistically, Trocadero in Philadelphia. Man, I just cut my teeth there. It was like the first big stage I got to play on. I saw so many punk rock bands, the Bad Brains, Cro-Mags, so many there.
Trocadero. Still there?
Yeah. John Hampton kept
somehow.
it alive.
One thing that excites you in your marketing journey? Like, what are you looking forward to?
Marketing? Man, every day I wake up and I'm like, what's the innovation I missed while I was sleeping? What's the tool I don't know about? Or what's the thing I don't yet know that I need to get? And you showed me something today. Like, so every day I'm like, what do I not know?
Last one. What's the one creative risk every marketer should take in the back half of 2025?
One risk every marketer should take in the back half of 2025. I think, oh man, you stumped me on this one because there's so many that come to it. But I think it's going to be AI driven. I think it's twofold. I think I'm going to do a Jekyll and Hyde on you. I'm going to say, embrace AI, find a way for it to transform the way that you market and from operations and go to market and the way you engage, but also question everything you're doing with AI. Is it the right way? Are you letting go of headcount simply because this tool's better? Like, be very critical on your adoption and deployment of AI from everything, from creative to operational to everything. So it's a double-edged sword. Like literally, AI is that tool that will, cut your food so that you can eat it, but it's also the thing that will slit your throat if you fall asleep on it. So be very, very careful, but explore it.
Well said.
I love it. All right. Well, we got it. Okay. Fight for what you believe in.
Yeah, man.
Your work is like family. Work with cool people.
Always.
Do what you love.
Yeah.
And you'll never work a day in your life, but even though you will, but keep true to yourself. Be authentic. Show your values, and always be learning, man. Always be learning new tech, figuring out what's hot, figuring out the right way to use it. I love what you just said, which is just because it's there doesn't mean you should use it.
Correct, but test, and there is value. You just got to find what's the value of that tool or innovation for you and your brand.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Anish, you want to take us out?
Man.
All right. That was Tim Glomb. That was Tim Glomb on the Art of Commerce. Thank you for joining us. This was a fantastic conversation.
Thank you, Tim.
If you enjoyed this episode, guys, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to this channel that you're watching this on. Rate us on Spotify.
And follow Tim Glomb, man.
Follow Tim Glomb.
He's the man.
Let us know who you would like to see next on the podcast.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Awesome.
This is The Art of Commerce, featuring conversations on creativity and conversions. If you found value in today's episode, follow the show, leave a review, and stay tuned for more insights for the minds reshaping modern marketing.